Hi, classmates. This is Erin Kerr. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Um, my Unit 8 video script has a responsive scenario for which I created a responsive circle lesson plan, and I'll go over that first. As some of you may have read in my Unit 7 scenario, I rented out some spaces at my property, and so together my tenants and I have agreed to attempt to be a restorative community of 8 adults and 3 children. And we have incorporated restorative practices into our rental agreement. I created a document and went over it with each person, explaining the concepts of proactive circles, which are going to be monthly community dinners, and responsive circles if someone does something that isn't acceptable to others. And I put in the restorative questions, the social discipline window, fair process, the central blueprint, and the compass of shame. And obviously, this is new material for these people, but they seemed really open and really excited about it. And I just kind of briefly went over it with everybody and set that intention, and they're good. But there has been already a violation of the rental agreement. And what happened was the agreement stipulated that there would be no pets allowed on the property without my express permission and the permission of the other tenants. And one day I drove up and saw a dog that was not on a leash sitting on the porch of one of the spaces. And so I did call a circle. It was a sequential circle and the goal of the circle was to revise the agreement so that the all members' needs are met. And these are the questions that I asked. First of all, what is your vision of an optimal community living situation to the people who brought the dog? And then I also answered that question. So the people included were the couple and myself, and so it was only the three of us. The second question was, what about this agreement is working well for you? So I wanted to use the central blueprint and give a moment for positive feedback. And then I wanted to bring out the actual agreement that has been signed and say, what were you thinking when you brought the dog? And I listened respectfully, and then I also had a chance to share about the impact that it had to see the dog. And then I asked, how do you think this violation has impacted you and others? And that, I think, changed the direction of it opened their minds to, I know that they're in a situation where they have this dog and they've had a hard time finding a spot for it. But anyway, a lot of details were shared on both sides, and that was helpful. And then the next question is, what needs to be done to make things right? And what could we have done to avert this from happening? And then what have we learned from this experience? And so what happened was the rental agreement stipulated that there would be no pets, and that above questions were explored. And the outcome was an amendment to the rental agreement that charged an additional monthly fee for the presence of the dog and an additional fee paid as a pet deposit. And so now we are in agreement again, and we were able just to solve the problem in an acceptable way so that no one was at risk. The second is the proactive scenario, and this is a true story of what happened in my family, actually. One of my children, my oldest, got married a few years ago, and there had been a divorce. Myself and his father were divorced about 5 years prior to that, and my son wanted to invite both his in-laws from his father and my side, even though those two groups of people had not spoken to each other in 5 years. And he wanted to have all the extended family attend his wedding, and to avoid, any unpleasant conflict. And this is what he did. He made a discreet call to each of his parents expressing his feelings, which was affective statements of apprehension, along with his wishes for a safe and sacred experience. He asked for each of his parents to make a list of their own relatives and asked each of if they had any special emotional needs while being in the presence of people that they had not seen for a long time. He created a short series of questions for each parent to ask. How would they like the bride and groom to feel after their wedding was over? How would they like the family to interact with each other in order to give the couple the best possible experience? And what actions would each person be willing to take to create an ambiance of joy and relaxation? And then ask each if they had any special needs for seating arrangements. And then he checked in with his parents after their conversations with each of their in-laws and listened attentively to everyone's feedback. And then he and his fiancee created a seating plan honoring his family members' wishes. And then the wedding ended up being an enormous step forward toward reuniting these sets of people. And they were way more comfortable seeing each other afterwards, and it actually restored some of the former affection that everyone had felt for each other during the marriage. So the event ended up having a huge healing effect on everyone. So that was a milestone, a success, and it was a proactive solution to avoid awkwardness and to restore good feelings, and it worked really well. So thank you so much.